What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we the people choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
You want healthy children. Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Trump, everybody they know, they gonna vote for Donald Trump, that's the way it goes. All over America, all over the USA, they voted for Donald Trump, that's what I'm trying to say. Election is over, everyone can see. Donald Trump is now the president of your country. Election is over, everyone can see. Donald Trump is now the president of your country. I want to make America great again. Woo! I want to lower the taxes. I want to bring all American business back from overseas back to the USA, baby.
There we go.
Ooh, yeah. Donald Trump is now the president of your country. Election is over. Everybody can see. Donald Trump is now the president of your country. Election is over. Everyone can see. Donald Trump is now the president of your country.
Good evening. I don't normally play the entire long intro because I just want to jump into it. But tonight's one of those nights where the long intro was most definitely appropriate. A lot of stuff to celebrate today. And I didn't notice until just now. I read the title of today's video, and it says Freak Oi. I meant to say Freak Out. I'll have to fix that so I can actually have that right. But what you're going to see tonight is some stuff that should make you celebrate everything that has happened today. With Christopher, oh, not you again. With Christopher Wray resigning. Midas, please stop. With Christopher Wray resigning, and then, of course, the media who did everything that they possibly could to freak out right after he resigned. So, without further ado, before this dog starts barking and interrupting me again, let's go ahead and jump into today's activities.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down. My goal is to keep the focus on our mission, on the indispensable work each of you is doing every single day. And in my view, this is the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray while reinforcing the values and principles that are so important in how we do our work. Now, it should go without saying, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. This is not easy for me. I love this place. I love our mission, and I love our people. But my focus is, and always has been, on us and on doing what's right for the FBI.
What's your reaction to Ray's resignation? We look forward to a very smooth transition of the FBI, and I'll be ready to go on day one.
I've asked this Congress to investigate where has this money gone. The American people are owed that answer because it's our money. It's our taxpayer dollars.
And there's a lot of really good reason to be concerned because, the Ukraine was known as a, place of corruption, a place for money.
Let me ask you a question. Why is it that the new guy, Kash Patel, as he's going to be confirmed one way or the other, still yet to be seen how that's going to happen, but why is it that the new guy, from a 30,000 foot view, he can look at this with the most elementary of question, which every American citizen probably feels exactly the same way, and that question is, we need to find out where this money went. And because this guy is asking those kinds of questions, where's the money? Where'd it go? Who got it? People are freaking out. And I'm thinking, Christopher Wray, you're the director currently of the FBI. You've been there, for quite some time. It never dawned on you as an investigatory agency of the United States to even check where this money landed? Who got their hands on it? No forensics, nothing? Why is that? Because when you ask yourself that question, you start getting a lot of clarity. You start thinking to yourself, these people have definitely done something shady. For them not even to want an accounting. Remember, that's what Trump got impeached for. Hey, yeah, Ukrainian guy, yeah. Is this all lining up and up? Should we check this out? And because he even dared to ask what was going on over there, they had to impeach him and keep impeaching him and file charges against him. Oh my gosh, don't ask where the money went. Well, in poker, which I play, that's a tell. You see, that tells me there's something there. There's something really, really, really bad there that you don't want anybody to know. So much so that your current FBI director looked the other way. Looked the other way. And now you've got somebody coming in who his first order of business is, what happened here? I need to do an autopsy because something doesn't smell right. And it definitely doesn't look right. And I'm not alone. There's, a couple 100 million people behind me who are like, where'd this money go? Can anybody tell anybody in the United States where this money went? No. That should be every media person, every so-called journalist, every so-called American, left and right. You should at least want a clear accounting as to where the money went. Even if you support Zelensky, even if you say, yay, rah, rah, Zelensky, you should still want to know, where did the money go? $200+ billion. I look at my receipts on my credit card at the end of a week so I can see what has, reconciled, what went through, make sure nothing crazy went, that nobody added $1,000 tip or something. I check where the money goes, even though I'm the one spending it or Robin's spending it. And you've asked the entirety of the American population, don't ask any questions. Don't. You're not entitled to know where your money went. And if anybody asks, we're going to impeach them and throw them in jail because they're not allowed to ask where this money went. Thank God Kash Patel is about to get in there. I don't care how you get him in there, Mr. Trump. I don't care if it's by recess appointment or if you can expedite the approval. You got to get him on the ground day one, ready to open these books and start chasing down this information.
Laundering.
Yeah. It's not like we sent $1 billion, as if that was even a small number to begin with, right? We've sent 100 times that to one country. I don't know how this Congress is allowed to get away with it. And Zelensky is out there. He went on the world stage and said Russia fired a rocket into Poland, which would literally be an act of war. Well, it turned out that Russia fired no such rocket. It turned out that the rocket came from the Ukraine and was fired into Poland.
And it was a mistake, basically.
If Zelensky's going to go out there and beg the world for more money and come to the U.S. and sit in the well of our Congress and say, we want more money, and then call and demand the new Speaker of the House provide more and more money, and call Mitch McConnell and say, we need more and more machinery, he needs to be more prepared about global statements that bring us to the precipice of war than doing what he did last fall with this missile attack, or this missile launch, I should say.
But now you know why they're hustling out as much money out the door as possible, as fast as they possibly can. Which is really weird, because even if you're doing that, even if you're trying to get as much money out the door as possible before January 20th, there still has to be an accounting. There's no getting away from that. I hope Kash Patel has as good a security as Donald Trump does, because these people are going to lose it. If anything I've seen today, and I'm going to show you in the media today, they're losing it. They're freaking out, which I don't understand why. You see, why would the media be freaking out about accounting money to Zelensky? Who are they covering for? Unless, of course, they got some.
We just can't have full faith and trust by giving a leader $100 billion and having him say, I'm not telling you where the money went. Then we need to decrease what I call government creep with personnel. The FBI's footprint has gotten so freaking big.
So you've seen this before. So now you got the two sides of Kash Patel. You got the external side, where Kash Patel is basically telling the world, we're going to begin auditing the books. I need to know if there's fraud here, where this money's gone, who's gotten it, how much was it given, where did it go after it landed in this account, all kinds of stuff. We found out today that there were more pallets of billions of dollars with QR codes from America. These people have been just shipping dollars everywhere. So side A is, let's do some serious forensic accounting. Side B is, now let's clean up this mess you guys want to call the FBI. See, this is where I think Trump is playing little poker himself by saying, oh, I love the rank and file FBI agents. Let's find out how much they love you when you get in there and say, hey, your new office is in Omaha. Your new office is in Boise. No, you're not going to be here in Washington, D.C. You're not going to be in New York. All that glamour stuff, no, we're moving you. Go chase down stuff over there. It's so much cheaper to live, by the way. You'll love Tulsa. If you guys watch the show here with Sylvester Stallone, I love Tulsa King. It's out there in the middle flipping nowhere. Enjoy yourself. Go do something. You guys have obviously seen the meme from The Office where the two guys are sitting across the table from the other guy. He's like, what exactly do you do here? You're going to have to defend your life, defend your existence. Why are you getting this big fat paycheck from the FBI? How many cases have you closed? How many cases have you opened? How many bad guys have you locked up? How many current investigations are you operating? And you better have some substantive information to give Kash and Vivek and Elon when they start asking these questions of you. Because we need to know, should you still be paid? Are you somebody we need here? Or if we can't fire you because some of the stuff that Biden has done, you know, he's tried to make it so some of these people can't be fired. Okay. Guess what you get to do? What? You get to analyze snow in Alaska or some faraway post. Don't tell me I can't reassign you. Maybe you have to go through cow dung someplace in the, you know, the outreach of the backwoods of Texas and make sure there's no fentanyl for cows or something. Oh, I'm going to make your life hell. I can reassign you. If I can't fire you, I'm going to make your life hell. So you might want to quit because there's nothing you can do about it if you don't play along. And I don't mean play along. That goes back to what Elon and Vivek have been publicizing, that less than 1% of the federal employees, including the FBI, ever see the inside of an office. I'm telling you, I know there's a lot of people who love the idea from work from home, and as an employee, it's fantastic. You get to hang out in your underwear and, you know, once in a while do a Zoom call. It's the best thing possible for an employee. But if you sign the front of the check instead of the back of the check, you're going to want some answers from these people who never show up to the office. And here we are, you know, Kash Patel is coming in as the leader of the FBI of a gazillion employees, essentially signing the front of the check. I need to know if you are efficient in what you do.
Explosive afternoon. Incredible. The American Gestapo, let's get it right over there. We don't call it the Gestapo. We call it the American Gestapo. Stunningly, Chris Wray resigns. This is what's so great about these people. They're so tough and so puffed up and you know, they're so going to do this and going to do that. They're running for the hills. Nobody thought Wray would resign. They thought Trump would have to fire him after he got in, and then it'd be a court, it'd be a big fight, the Congress would get involved. He quit. He quit because he's a wimp, a pencil neck, a loser. He's afraid of us. That's why he quit. And look at Brennan. Look at the fear. Now they get it, that they're going to have no stop at all for the investigations that are surely going to happen on their criminality. You're going to see revved up tonight, big league, is the blanket preemptive pardon movement over there. Because they understand their crimes. Don't take it from me. Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley is decent. You know, he's kind of, you go to the dictionary next to Iowa, nice guy. Grassley's picture's there. He's putting blast out on we'll have this hack over at NBC, Ken Delaney. We'll go through his material here in a second. Saying, oh, Grassley's wrong. This is all fabricated. It's all wrong. Ed, if it's wrong, why'd he quit? Why'd he quit? Why didn't you talk about this? You love the institutions. You're going to do all this. You're going to sacrifice. You guys don't sacrifice anything. The first time, a tiny bit of pressure from some crazy man here yelling into a microphone, right? And you run for the hills. You're nothing but a bunch of wimps.
Tell us how you really feel, Steve. So he's talking about Ken Delaney, which I've got some video for you to take a look at. Ken Delaney never turned down the invite to sniff up a CIA agent's butt. His nose is so brown. Everybody in the media, everybody in politics knows that this guy is nothing but a deep state bootlicker or higher, if you know what I mean. So he's talking about what Chuck Grassley posted on X. And here's what Chuck Grassley posted. Reports FBI Director Wray is resigning after my letter on Monday outlining his failures. Oh, take the credit, Chuck. Reform is badly needed at the FBI. American people deserve transparency and accountability, which is specifically what I was talking about with Kash Patel. Transparency. Where did the money go? Accountability. Who got it? Why was it given out this way? You just have to keep remembering the fact that Trump was impeached for merely asking. And at the same time, I would ask these guys like Chuck Grassley, where you been, bro? Why is it now you're asking, we need some accountability, some transparency? What did they do to put you in a situation where you didn't ask before? I mean, we'll cut you some slack there, but I didn't see 50 other Republican senators stepping up before and saying, we need to know where this money's going. Now, it seems like they feel they have some cover, and with this cover, they're gonna, find out what these people did.
Stand and fight. Show us something. You're such big talkers. Show us something. Show us, come on, show us some resolve. Show us. You're nothing but a bunch of losers. You're scrambling. What Ray's looking for is get that jet, that private FBI jet, and, I don't know, fly to Canada. Sorry, it's going to be the 51st state. You can't hide out there. Go to Greenland. No, that's not going to work. Trump's going to buy it.
Canada and Greenland. So Chuck Grassley also, this was on Monday. In his 7 years as FBI director, Chris Wray has allowed the Bureau to be politicized and repeatedly refused to answer to Congress and protect whistleblowers. Time to turn the page on Director Wray and Director Abate's failed leadership. I've seen enough. What did it take you? 7 years to see enough? These same questions have to be asked of our politicians. Why now? Why now have you seen enough? What took you so long to get to the party? I'm happy. I'm like I said, this is it. This is happy, Barry. Christopher Wray is gone. Kash Patel's coming in. Congress, people are looking at this and going, yeah, we need to get some accountability and transparency. I'm happy, but where you been? How come you haven't done it?
You guys are pathetic.
The FBI director just resigned. Christopher Wray.
The FBI director just resigned. This is a quick little montage of their pain.
It's a moment ago that he will leave by the end of the current administration.
I think it's going to be very difficult, and I'm very disappointed that Director Wray decided to resign.
It's a sad day for the institution.
I'm struggling to really understand.
There were some people who were seen crying in the room.
There was also a...
There were people seen crying in the room. Oh, did you get my pardon? Oh boy, you thought this guy was gonna stick it out, and he stuck it to you. He's out. Let's see in the next couple of weeks if he gets a piece of paper from Dementia Joe. At this point, Dementia Joe is getting the request over and over and over from so many people. I need one of those, please. They're running scared. They're terrified. Trump's got these people just completely discombobulated. And now all these people in the media, for some reason, are just as upset about the entire thing.
Somber tone at times and some sadness. I just want to emphasize what a departure from the norm this is.
This is a norm-shattering event.
This unprecedented move. We've become used to presidents firing FBI directors.
That normalizes the idea that you can just replace FBI directors when you just don't like what they're doing.
Isn't that how most jobs are? Hey, listen, I don't like what you're doing. I'm not comfortable. You need to go. I mean, that's the whole idea for terminating people's employment. And these people are like, oh my God, we're shocked. Oh my God, is this the new norm? Having to, like, you know, validate your existence? Is that new? Oh my God, what are we going to do? They can just fire you and get rid of you. What? He didn't get fired. He took the door number B. He's like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to put myself in a position to let this guy fire me. And one of the things you're going to hear over and over for some of these people is, oh, he was there for a 10-year term. That's not true. The FBI director is to serve a term of up to 10 years. It is not a 10-year contract. Up to 10 years, meaning you could serve 1 year and get the door. You could serve 6 months and get the door. It's up to 10 years. And again, this is another hire that Donald Trump did. Trusted somebody. Somebody whispered in his ear, said, hey, listen, this guy Christopher Wray is who you should hire. Yeah, how'd that work out? Is there any wonder he's coming in with so-called loyalists right now? Don't trust any of you snakes. I saw what happened.
It was Trump himself who appointed Wray, a fellow Republican.
Chris Wray, somebody who he nominated himself, now for Donald Trump is the face of the so-called deep state.
This, of course, clears the way for Trump's pick, Kash Patel.
And this really marks the end of what was a delicate dance for Christopher Wray, where he tried for years to keep the FBI away from partisan politics.
Yeah, it's a real politicization of the FBI.
I just want to emphasize the level of concern among current and former FBI officials that Kash Patel is the wrong person to run the FBI is very, very high.
There's a lot of concern that the Bureau is going to be turned essentially to go after Trump's enemies.
Our U.S. attorneys.
I haven't seen this kind of freak out since November 5th. Oh, you know, don't they realize when you know, they make these supercuts and show all these people losing it, absolutely losing it, looking in the camera and saying some of the stupidest things. Don't they realize that, you know, Trump can see this? You're showing people there's a problem here. You're showing people that, oh man, they're worried. All of you can see this. All of America can see this complete worry. What are you people all worried about? You're in the media. You're not even a part of this, and you're freaking out. Why? I keep having that question over and over when I see these things. What are you worried about? You should just be reporting the news. Hey, today it's Wednesday, December 11th, and at 2 p.m., Christopher Wray, director of the FBI, has decided to resign. What are you worried about?
Who are loyal to Trump going to tell us to not open corruption cases on Republicans, to not open counterintelligence cases on Russia?
Patel's road to confirmation is lined with red flags being waved by his former Trump administration colleagues, including a dire public warning from former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton.
The guardrails may not hold.
John Bolton. Yeah, I put lots of credence in John Bolton. I don't think these people realize, well, maybe they may realize what they're saying. I don't think they realize it's happening across network after network, and you guys are going to be put together in these supercuts where people just have to be wondering to themselves, what is wrong with you? And
polls show that around half of Americans don't trust the FBI, but perhaps no one is more to blame for that than Mr. Trump himself, who has baselessly accused the Bureau of conducting witch hunts against him.
Did you hear that? All right, so it just flowed out of his mouth that 50% of the people in America, interesting number, split right down the middle, don't trust the FBI, and it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault that people don't trust the FBI. So everything everybody has watched on television, even on your news stations, MSNBC, everything we've all watched, you don't think people have looked at this and went, that ain't fair. Why are they kicking the door at Mar-a-Lago? Why'd they, show up at Roger Stone's house with a, SWAT team where CNN just happened to be there? Why are all these things happening? This doesn't seem like it's, fair justice. You don't think people saw this? Well, then you don't understand what happened on November 5th either. Because, as I've said many times, these people are stuck in a time warp. They're doing the Rocky Horror dance, stuck in the time warp and all this stuff because they don't understand the world around them has completely changed. They're in a snow globe where they're just talking to the same people, asking the same questions, wondering the same ideas, why they didn't work. Go out and touch grass. Go into a Whole Foods. Go into your local grocery store. Take your camera and your microphone and go, hey, so what do you think about so-and-so? You always talk to the same people every single night who give you the same perspective every single night, and you wonder why you get blasted in an election because you haven't even taken the time to talk to real people. Sad. It's very sad. We will rock you on January 20th. I hope he has a great concert. Rudy got railroaded and robbed of everything but the clothes on his back. Yeah, we saw that. We absolutely saw that. And you watch, Christopher Wray will be one who probably gets pardoned. Mayorkas is out there talking, I mentioned it before in my other videos, he's talking about getting immunity. Dude, why do you need immunity? Yeah, there is Ray and Mayorkas, Cheney jail time. The drones flying over. Oh, the drones are flying right now. Go out and take a picture. Cool Barry knows Rocky Horror. Yeah, I went to college. I can't even believe I used to go with the white preppy kids, and I'm like, what? Let's go. What is this thing here? We're sitting here watching this movie. I'm like, this is stupid. Oh, you got beer? It's great. Oh, day one bonanza. All ex-presidents do not show for the great one's inauguration. They probably won't. They probably won't. Everybody my age knows Rocky Horror. You couldn't have gone to college around my time. There's two things everybody knew: Rocky Horror and, of course, Animal House. While the mother and daughter's election workers, and they took every dime he had. All of them, all of his dimes. Not tired of winning as much. It's going to keep going, too. It's really going to keep going. So, as not to have you here all night, let's continue, because now that was just like the supercut. Now we're going to hear some serious whining from the media. And it's not necessarily just Christopher Wray stuff. Check this out.
And I start with you. Leaving at the end of a current president's term is the opposite of what the 10-year service window is about. And
we'll let her have that service window. Okay.
And we've covered the cross pressures on the FBI, but I wonder what it is like for the workforce to see their leader leave.
I think it's going to be very difficult, and I'm very disappointed that Director Wray decided to resign. I think Director Wray has carried out his responsibilities with integrity, professionalism during very difficult and challenging times over the last 7 years, and he was appointed to a 10-year term, and he accepted.
You lied. That's where you lose your credibility, when you lie. He was not appointed to a 10-year term. I will say it over and over again. You are appointed you can serve up to 10 years. It is not a 10-year contract. Somehow these people always seem to obfuscate facts.
10-year term. And right now, his decision to leave tends to legitimize what Donald Trump is doing in terms of appointing someone else. I don't think it would be...
Was it illegitimate? I mean, you just said it legitimizes Trump appointing someone else. So are you actually saying it's illegitimate to hire someone else? Think what you're saying, dude. It doesn't make any sense. You're trying to say Trump bringing in Kash Patel is not a legitimate hire.
Yeah, any problem if he stayed in place and had Donald Trump remove him. I mean, that certainly is a president's prerogative, even though there is a 10-year term.
It's not a 10-year term. Stop lying.
On the FBI director role. But by doing this, I do think it's going to leave the men and women of the FBI sort of wondering what their future is going to look like, particularly if somebody like Kash Patel, a real sycophant of Donald Trump, is actually going to get through the confirmation process. So although...
All right. So again, this is where these people are focused. If this sycophant for Donald Trump, because having loyalty is pretty bad. You shouldn't have anybody around you who's loyal to you. It's horrible. Loyalty is absolutely horrible. If he gets confirmed. I'm just going to keep pointing that out because I showed you earlier what Trump said about the confirmation process and how recess appointments are critical to his success. Not, hey, I'd like to do it if we can. It's critical to his success. Let them keep thinking that we're going to go through a confirmation process.
I respect Director Wray, and I'm sure that his decision was based on how he evaluated the impact on the Bureau and the workforce. I just think that was a decision that should not have been made at this point, and he should have stayed through the transition to the new administration.
So what you're saying is you solely are looking to determine what some individual feels is best for him. Hey, listen, I don't even want to deal with Trump. I don't want to deal with, possibly being fired or him directing me to do this or that or Pam Bondi. I just want out. Why is that bad? Well, it is. It's weak. It's not. It's weak to not to want to defend yourself, but at the same token, who are you? Who are you to pass judgment on what this guy wants to do with his own life? Now here we go back to Ken Dhillon from MSNBC. The CIA deep state butt sniffer.
It marks the end of what was a delicate dance for Christopher Wray, where he tried for years to keep the FBI away from partisan politics and stay off of Donald Trump's enemies list, even as the FBI was running investigations of Mr. Trump. During the first Trump presidency, Wray managed to avoid the worst of Trump's criticisms. Those were directed at special counsel Robert Mueller, who supervised a special team.
Boy, wasn't that a picture of two turncoats?
Team of FBI agents investigating whether Mr. Trump conspired with Russia or obstructed justice. And then during the Biden presidency, Mr. Wray really couldn't avoid crossing Donald Trump. He oversaw a massive FBI investigation, as everyone remembers, of thousands of people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and also the investigations into Mr. Trump's role in the effort to overturn the election in 2020 and into his handling of classified documents.
Well, to me, that right there, you just explained why he's got to go. You just said that he oversaw the investigations for the January 6th thing, because I'm not going to call it what you call it. You said he oversaw all of that. But for some reason, somehow, the guy with, the vast resources of law enforcement like the FBI couldn't figure out who the so-called pipe bomber was. Just imagine that. With everything you have available to you to dig and find and track, you couldn't find who the January 6th bomber was. Interesting. You know what else you couldn't figure out? You, the director of the FBI, you couldn't figure out where these drones and what they're coming from. I mean, we just heard this afternoon, it's 50, they're flying all over the place, and the people at the meeting said, you have to contact the FBI. We heard the guy at the FBI basically throw up on himself, and you have no idea. None is what the guy said. We have no idea. You have no idea where these drones are from. That sounds like some serious competence to me, doesn't it? You can't find a January 6th bomber? No trace. Can't find out where these drones are coming from. Nope, can't do it. And you couldn't even figure out who Ray Epps was. I'm looking at video. I'm seeing this guy. And so all of these things, these huge cases, you couldn't figure out any of that. But this guy, this butt sniffer here, he thinks it's all because of Trump.
Documents. Director Wray, of course, approved the FBI search of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago compound in 2022, and that's something Mr. Trump never forgot. In fact, he brought that search up over the weekend in his interview with NBC's Kristen Welker when he said that Mr. Wray, quote, invaded my home, and he added, quote, I'm very unhappy with the things that he's done.
Yeah, he did say that, and I'm pretty sure he meant it. Sending in a SWAT-style team basically to go into Mar-a-Lago.
Mr. Trump also made clear he was annoyed when Chris Wray a few months ago questioned in a congressional hearing whether Mr. Trump actually was hit by a bullet during that assassination attempt against him. Wray later clarified that it was either a bullet or bullet fragments that struck Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump said in that interview that he had a lot of respect for the FBI, but the FBI's respect, he said, had gone way down over the last number of years. And he's right about that. Polls show that around half of Americans don't trust the FBI, although trust is higher among Democrats than Republicans. But perhaps no one is more to blame for that than Mr. Trump himself, who has baselessly accused the Bureau of conducting witch hunts against him. In fact, outside reviews found that...
Baselessly. There's nothing at all in regards to Trump saying these things are baseless. Let's see. Looks like there's a couple lawsuits and charges that are about to be dropped, which in of itself would prove this other stuff is baseless. Completely baseless. And I don't know if you heard during that Kristen Welker interview, Trump said he's got a lawsuit against the United States. It's probably going to be a huge lawsuit that he will probably win. So, how is it baseless?
The FBI had ample reason to open its investigation into whether the Trump campaign coordinated with Russia in 2016. And of course, the FBI uncovered significant evidence of wrongdoing in the January 6th classified documents investigations, which led grand juries of citizens in Washington, D.C. and Florida to vote to indict Mr. Trump. Christopher Wray was appointed FBI director by Mr. Trump in June of 2017 after Mr. Trump abruptly fired then Director James Comey in a controversial move that, of course, resulted in the naming of Special Counsel Robert Mueller to investigate whether Trump obstructed justice and conspired with Russia. And that was only the second time in history that an FBI director had been fired before serving a full 10-year term. Mr. Trump has now essentially engineered the third such ouster.
Hi there, everyone. It's
Man, these people, as you've been seeing in a bunch of the shows, you're going to see tonight, it's becoming more and more apparent that they're foundering. They have no idea what to do. There's nobody guiding them. There's nobody saying, hey, we should do this. And you've lost touch with America. America, as of January 20th, is going to be moving forward pretty quick. Going to be looking at doing a whole bunch of different things. And you guys are still sitting here trying to debate how did he win, what's going to happen. I've said it many times. You will never win another major election if you don't get your crap together and start basically talking to the American people. That entire soliloquy he just did talking about Christopher Wray, dude, nobody cares. There's obviously nobody cares in your audience what you think Christopher Wray and Donald Trump's relationship is. He's gone. And you started rehashing stuff for the last couple of years. Oh, the January 6th, the blah, blah. You're doing that to try and keep that in people's mind. And you're not doing anything to further the Democrat Party, which you obviously are loyal to. Now, I'm not here to coach them. I'm here to show you guys that's why these guys are done. People ask me, Barry, why do you really feel they're done? Because they can't do anything. I'm seeing the stats. I'm seeing what their numbers are looking like. I mean, you want to see something funny? well, it's funny for them, but at the same time, there'll be some people who might find this interesting. I want you to look at something, and I'm not blowing my own horn here. Just want to show you something. Let me go ahead and pull this up. These were the top news live streams in the United States yesterday. Top live streams with news. Dan Bongino, number one, as he is most days. Patrick Bet-David, Steven Crowder, Tim Cass, Bannon's War Room, Benny Johnson, Redacted, Nicholas Fuentes, Julie Green Ministries, InfoWars, NBC News, PBS, and some guy named Barry Cunningham. Some guy named Barry Cunningham was the 13th biggest news stream in the United States yesterday. So I was right there with NBC News. And I came in before Fox News. I'm not showing you this to thump my horn. I'm showing you this because NBC, MSNBC, CBS, CNN aren't on this list. There's nothing here. They're live 24/7. There's nobody watching them. At least NBC News is right here. And this thing comes out every single weekday, and it shows where the streams are. And Dan's always the big dog on the block here. And then, of course, you guys know Benny and Redacted and some of these things. But they're never there. And so I'm going to ask you, if they never show up, and if guys like me are beating CNN and MSNBC and CBS and ABC, what hope do these people have? How did they not understand that everything you're saying right now, everything that these people are complaining about on the media, Christopher Wray, but nobody gives a crap. You're not giving people what they want. The simple rule of marketing is give people what they want. I ran a poll earlier today and I said, listen, I've been approached by some people in the business world and say, hey, can we come on and talk on your channel? So I ran a poll. Hey, would you guys like to see business information? Earlier when I checked, it wasn't even that close. People are like, no, don't want to see it, not interested. Let me see if I can bring that up. Let's see what the numbers are as of right now. They're not horribly bad, but there was my question earlier. Are you interested in hearing from business leaders and real estate moguls? Yes, I'd be interested, 40%. No interest, 60%. So that tells me, hey, it may not be something people really care about. So guess what? I'm not going to do it right now. You see, CNN is literally, not CNN, all of them are literally selling stale milk to people, and they expect people to want to lap it up. Which is why when RFK Jr. gets in and it says no more pharmaceutical money, now all this is going to dry up on them. Because they're so stuck, they can't pivot. They can't give their audience what they want.
O'clock in New York. For the next 4 years, there will be a lot to cover and report on in the category of norm busting and grifting.
See? They're telling you right there, hey, the next 4 years with Trump in office, we're going to have so much to talk about with norm busting and grifting. You think your audience wants to hear you attack Trump 24/7. You obviously didn't notice what happened on November 5th. You didn't pay attention. But still, this is where you want to go.
Unqualified individuals doing previously unheard of things atop government agencies. While Donald Trump crows about a so-called mandate and Republicans in Congress feel around for whatever remains of their sense of duty and accountability to the Constitution and the rule of law. For that reason, it will be important to track mile markers or signposts along various trajectories. One we have focused on a whole lot of.
You know what kind of mile markers and signposts that you should be focused on? Every morning you should look at your ratings. And when you look at your ratings, that's your signpost. Hey, so nobody wanted to watch our crap. Nope. So people really didn't want to see us trash Trump for the next 4 years. Can you imagine that? After what you just saw on November 5th, you got entire news networks saying, oh, we need to triple down on this crap. Everything Trump does, we have to hate it. We have to make sure everybody knows everything Trump says, he sucks. And you're not even making that pivot. The media is just a howling dog at this point. It's insane. I mean, it's the first rule in marketing. If people aren't buying what you're selling, you better sell something else or you won't be there much longer. It's very simple. But her opening statement here is, oh, for the next 4 years, we got a whole bunch to cover with norms busting and grifting. You're the one who's grifting. You're getting this big, fat, 7-figure paycheck and nobody's watching you. And yet you think Trump's got the problem. Well, I think he's got a whole bunch of people voting for him that were like, yeah, do this.
Around here is democratic norms versus autocratic impulses. And in that category, Donald Trump made a very big move yesterday, tapping someone who departs perhaps as dramatically as any other pick from the normal parameters for the individual overseeing the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice. In her case, Trump is letting the fox guard the hen house, tapping a loyalist who has at every single turn since the 2020 election and the emergence of the big lie enabled Donald Trump's attacks.
Hear that? Loyalist, big lie. These were all the terms that you thought were going to propel Kamala to a victory. You're showing up to a football game with a tennis racket. You have no idea what you're doing on this field. Harmeet Dhillon is a fantastic attorney. And the only thing you can say is that she helped with the big lie and she's a loyalist. Maybe someone needs to let these people understand we all want people loyal to us. It's not a bad word. MAGA is not a bad word. Maybe you should stop saying it.
On voting and democratic norms in the name of Trump's lie about voter fraud leading to his defeat in 2020. Her name is Harmeet Dhillon, and she is Donald Trump's pick to lead the DOJ Civil Rights Division. It's a branch of the Justice Department the New York Times describes like this, quote, the division enforces voting rights laws, investigates police departments, and brings charges for violations of people's civil rights. The division's own website proudly states this, quote, we uphold the civil rights of all people in the United States. It is a solemn and important responsibility. If there is a through line in Dhillon's legal work over the last few years, it is that she has supported Donald Trump over anything and everyone else.
BS. And more BS. And even more BS. You see what Harmeet Dhillon has done, because not all of her cases have been for Donald Trump. She supports her client more than anything else. It's not political. A good attorney will fight like a pit bull for their client. The reason why you decide to take up certain cases and certain clients is because you know I am going to have to fight like a mongoose. I'm going to have to do anything I possibly can to help this person, i.e. my client, win this case. I don't want to hire an attorney that's docile. That would be the antithesis of why I would hire an attorney. You see, I don't think the left understands that. They don't understand that when you go to battle, whether it's, physical battle or else, because as you heard, Pete Hegseth wants to take women off the battlefield, is because as a person who was on the battlefield, he wants to make sure, just like when you hire an attorney, you got the baddest, meanest pit bull who's going to tear apart their opponent. That's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. I watched this show on Paramount, and it's hardcore. It's a show called Lioness, and it's about actually I don't even know what she is. It's Zoe Saldana, and she's a female who leads a unit of badasses, and they work for the CIA off the books and do some crazy stuff, and then they hire other lionesses, females, to do some other badass stuff. And I look at her and I go, well, I know that you're playing a role on television, but they don't understand who those type of women are. The type of women who basically would get into battle and operate the same exact way as a guy would, because they understand what's at stake. Not DEI, I'm here because I'm a woman or a transformer. I'm here because I'm a soldier first. I'm here because I'm a lawyer. And you're having a problem that she's a loyalist. Well, when you're in a hole, you want somebody who's really loyal.
New York Times writes this, quote, Ms. Dhillon has been a conservative activist so devoted to Mr. Trump that she was willing to attack not only Democrats, but also fellow Republicans. She was also the co-chairwoman in 2020 of a group, Lawyers for Trump, that challenged the results of that year's presidential election. Here she is in an appearance on Fox News on November 5th, 2020. While votes were still being counted, President Joe Biden would not be declared the winner for another 2 days. Watch.
In Philadelphia, you have election workers with Biden-Harris 2020 masks on, and they're the ones who look at ballots and they see if a ballot is defective in some way. They may fill it in or fix it, and there's nobody on the Republican side to witness it. And because that election is so close and because the president's lead is declining, that is where we could lose it. And it is an outrage that those people are in contempt of court. And meanwhile, we're waiting for the United States Supreme Court, of which the president has nominated 3 justices to step in and do something. And hopefully Amy Coney Barrett will come through and pick it up. There's no guarantee of that, Lou. So we have to fight this on the ground and make sure that we challenge in every place and we are.
Hopefully Amy Coney Barrett will come through.
So what did she say bad? I understand you made fun of her, but what did she say bad? She was fighting for her client.
Of course, the Supreme Court doesn't step in, Amy Coney Barrett or any of them, and do much of anything. They do not tip the scales for Donald Trump because Donald Trump lost. But Dhillon remained a loyal, legal foot soldier and spokesperson as Trump tried and failed to overturn the election and lost case after case after case, up to 60 of them. Here's how Mark Elias's Democracy Docket describes what she has done since then, since the 2020.
So right now, I'm not even going to go into the 60 case loss thing because you and I both know that's BS, and certain people up here won't be happy if I talk about it. But now she's going to quote Mark Elias. Mark Elias, in case you guys don't know, is a Democrat attorney who does anything and has filed anything to basically fight off stuff and protect the Democrats. But she's going to use his information to talk about Harmeet Dhillon. And some of you may be saying to yourself, Barry, why are you even showing this stuff? Because to me, it's a win. Because as I watch this stuff and share it with you, I can see the media just sliding off of a cliff. They're going to wake up one morning and they're not going to know what happened because they've been ignoring all of the signs. They are terminal. They have a disease and they're acting like they don't have one. You're still talking about the 2020 election. You're still talking about Amy Coney Barrett and trying to overturn it. You don't get it. Trump is going to be here in a month, and when he comes here in a month, they're still going to be talking about what happened, not what's going to happen. And so, as they continue this speed test, this downhill skiing into oblivion, there's nobody there who's going to pick it up and say, hey man, we need to change this. So I'm loving it. To me, this is a win for Trump. They know they're in trouble. Well, some people know. And they don't have any ability to change their stuff And at this point, once Trump gets in and he changes even the press conference room, these people are done. Absolutely done.
Election, quote, Dhillon and her namesake law firm she founded in 2006 has become one of the leading legal groups working to roll back voting rights across the country. In the past few years, Dhillon, or an attorney from her law firm, has been involved in at least 16 different lawsuits in Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, Maine, Michigan, North Carolina, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., challenging voting rights laws, redistricting, election processes, or Trump's efforts to appear on the ballot in the 2024 election. In a statement, Dhillon says that she is, quote, honored by President Trump's nomination to assist with our nation's civil rights agenda, but many experts see it quite differently.
That's how they always go. You mean like the 51 guys that signed the letter saying that the laptop was Russian disinformation? Those kind of experts? As long as you keep using these words, you're never going to win. We can sit back because I know at this point, because I watch these people like a game film. That's another reason I do this stuff. I watch them like a game film because I like to point out to you what to key in on, how they lie so smoothly. Their words, not mine. Hey, I talked to a whole bunch of experts. Who?
Mark Elias warns that with Dhillon at the head of DOJ's Civil Rights Division, quote, DOJ will be on the side of vote suppressors and election deniers, an early and important indicator of what the next chapter of the fight for voting rights will look like in the United States. With Trump's latest DOJ appointment is where we start today. Mark, first, just take one step back and remind us what is in the purview of the head of the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice.
There go them crazy glasses again. People on the left seem to be wearing. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, so it's a big job, and it covers, as you point out, the enforcement of the nation's civil rights laws involving discrimination, policing, lots and lots of things. But the thing that I am mostly focused on, or the thing that immediately jumped off the page for me, is that voting rights falls within this this purview, and that jumps off the page because Harmeet Dhillon ran for chair of the RNC against Ronna McDaniel on a platform of voter suppression, what she calls election integrity, complaining that the Republican Party was not doing enough after 2020.
Do you realize, and maybe you don't, I don't mean to be facetious, what they're calling voting rights, voter suppression, is something that like 85% or more of the people of the United States actually want. Voter ID. They've done so much damage to the American vocabulary and how they change words around to sound like something else so that the stupid people don't know what they're talking about. Voting rights, there's nobody in America who can't vote. In fact, they've gone overboard in certain states to make sure you can't even ask for an ID. So what their problem is that works for them. The only states that Kamala Harris won were those states where there was no voter ID. That's it. That's the only way she won. In fact, Ashley has an interview coming up with an attorney who will explain to you that not most, but as many as 50% of the people, Democrats in Congress, were the same way. They won because of being in no ID states. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to understand if Trump squeezes that and squeezes it and somehow gets voter ID passed, they're done. That's why they're fighting back so hard. They're fighting back because they also needed Christopher Wray. They needed the FBI in this fight. And because he's no longer going to be there, and now it's going to be Kash Patel. Kash Patel is going to go after Yes, I said go after. He's going to go after some of these precincts who have been playing games with voter ID. So once voter ID is somehow placed in more, I won't even say all, but is the more precincts, the more cities that have to enforce voter ID, their voter base shrinks. Their ability to do certain things shrinks. It becomes very, very, very hard for these people to do anything if you have to have voter ID. And so what they're calling voter rights and what they're pissed off about is because Harmeet Dhillon, who's a very good attorney, it's not voting rights she's going after. That they're trying to rile people up and tell you that's what it is. Oh, she's going to go after voting. No, it's not voting rights. It's voter ID. You can continue to say it's voter suppression. I've never met an individual over the age of 18 who doesn't have ID. Still hasn't. They're like unicorns. They're unicorns or fairies. I don't know anybody who doesn't have an ID. I had owned some rental property in a place called, where was that? They changed the name. It's called outside of Miramar. Never mind. I don't know why I said that. I used to own some rental property. And I rented it. Actually, it was already rented. I just kept a woman in there. She was such a nice woman. She was a grandma. She had a bunch of grandbabies that she watched. And we got into a talk. This lady must have been 75 or so. And I said, do you need a ride to vote or anything? And she said, and I remember it, and Robin remembers her too. She goes, no, we're good here. And I asked her, I said, do you have an ID? And she looked at me like this, like I was crazy. She goes, I watch these 7 or 10 grandkids. Every month, the government sends me a check. I need to go cash that check. In order for me to cash that check, I need to have an ID. So all these people, quote, on Obamacare, all these people on assistance in one way or the other, all these people, in order to make the money or get the money from the government, guess what you need to have? An ID. I had an old investor, a friend who taught me one time, he goes, make sure you work by the rule of 10,000. And I was like, because he was talking about scheduling. And I'm like, what the hell is the rule of 10,000? What would you do if somebody said, I got a check for you for $10,000? How quick would you be at that meeting? I was like, oh, yeah, I'd be pretty quick. My dad used to say, 15 minutes early is on time. Being on time is late. Being late, don't even call. Just keep driving. These people have lied to you. The American people, they have lied to so many people, they can't even remember how many people they've lied to by saying this is voter suppression. It's over, man. You guys are fighting a losing battle by trying to pretend like the poll peoples don't got no IDs.
Who put partisan poll watchers at the polls was not doing enough to fight against vote by mail and other forms of voting, was not doing enough to fight against civil rights and voting rights organizations in court. And the idea that she is now going to be put in charge of the Civil Rights Division and oversee the voting rights section at a time when you have the election denier in chief in the Oval Office, at a time when Project 2025 wants to dismantle voting rights around the country, at a time when, frankly, the courts and voting rights are one of the few places we have to fight to ensure free and fair elections in the future, is beyond absurd. It is something out of Kafka novel.
Breathe, bro. You're going to have a heart attack. Breathe.
Clients and my law firm and many other civil rights organizations in the position of now having to fight not just the state vote suppressors, not just the Republican Party and their allies who are, election deniers, but now we are also fighting the tax-funded Department of Justice, who will be advancing positions, like I said, antithetical to their core mission, which is ensuring the right to vote. It is both a drain on resources. It is also...
How is it antithetical? You slow down your spitting on the screen. How is it antithetical for people to have to show ID in order to vote? Who's being suppressed? It's 2024, about to be 2025. How can you not get an ID? I mean, I know if I go to the motor vehicles website, there's places all over the place. Everybody can get ID. You can't keep with this in 2024 and 2025 telling people it's voter suppression for you to get an ID. That lie is over. None of us believe you. None of us believe that anymore.
Going to cause a lot of confusion, I think, among judges. Although hopefully they will see through it. You know, some of the judges may play confused about what the Department of Justice is doing.
I mean, Melissa, it is as dramatic a shift for the role of the person inside the government who is supposed to or has previously done one thing and would now do another, as Kennedy at HHS or Tulsi Gabbard at DNI or Kash Patel at FBI. I mean, it is as dramatic a departure from an...
With all due respect to President Biden.
They don't like anybody. There's not a single... You would think... Well, let me just say this. If somebody said, Barry, name a Democrat that you think is a decent person. And I would have to dwell, and I would have to think. And it would be hard for me to pick somebody. I would think to myself and say, you know, Joe Manchin seems like a decent guy. I may not like his politics, but he seems like a guy who's on the up and up. Don't know much about him, but he appears that way, to be on the up and up. Like he'd listen to your argument. These people don't want to have anything to do with your argument. Their entire idea is to ram stuff down your throat and do it their way or else. And that's done. And so now Caroline Levitt here is going to tell you, or actually you already know, Trump's ready to shake the tree.
And he is desperately trying to reframe his legacy on his way out the door. And clearly the American people disagree with his statement yesterday that this is the strongest economy. Prices are still more than 20% higher than when Joe Biden took office. You also see that small business optimism is now at an all-time high because small business owners realize that President Trump is coming into the White House because they realize change is coming. That's why the American people overwhelmingly reelected President Trump, and he's putting together a brilliant team of business people, men and women who have not worked in Washington, D.C., but have actually ran businesses and know how to create jobs.
I'm going to show you something when I do the 10, like, you know, those 10 videos I do. I'm going to show you something when we get to the 10 that really has these people freaking out. Really, and it was just about what she just said.
I met with Senator Kelly Loeffler this morning, who will be the incoming small business administrator, Scott Bessent, who's a brilliant individual who will be leading the Department of Treasury. And they are going to help President Trump deliver on his America First economic agenda. Massive deregulation, an energy boom, bringing energy jobs back to this country to lower inflation for all Americans, and also delivering critical tax relief to put more money in the pockets of the American people.
I don't know about you, but I'm excited about seeing her in the press conferences. She can bring it, and especially when they do the press conferences different, when there's people like me or Dan Bongino or Benny. I mean, when they open it up to, you know, other people, these people are going to lose it, absolutely lose it.
And I don't know, the president's got a big job on his hands to turn this place around, a lot of damage.
All right, so this piece here. I'm not going to be able to talk about it too much because Big Brother is going to be watching. But last night they had an event at Mar-a-Lago, and there was two speeches I wanted to show you. The other one I still have to cut. It's Russell Brand, and it's amazing. This one here is Mel Gibson. And Mel Gibson has become a Trump supporter. He's so anti-Hollywood. You've seen some of his movies, The Passion of the Christ. I mean, this guy talks about something here, and I'm not sure if he didn't direct Jim Caviezel's movie about the Sound of Freedom, Song of Freedom, but he's got a passion for what's happening, especially with everything we're seeing with some of these rappers and what's been going on. You can tell he knows something here. I want you to hear this. I can't talk through it because, like I said.
And and they continue to start fires, just like around my house. But I'd like to thank what the general here is doing. He's no small part of this because...
By the way, the general he was speaking about, who he just pointed to, was General Flynn. So General Flynn was at this event as well with at Mar-a-Lago.
The problem here is many faceted. And for he and his sister Mary for exposing all these wolves in sheep's clothing that prey upon our young. I mean, I got 9 kids. I don't know, if one of them got stolen or trafficked or something, I'd have to kill someone. So that we tolerate this as we do, well, we see people here we won't tolerate. And that should work. But look, I'm just happy to be here and accept this, very proud. And I hope in the next 4 years we can get back some of that precious commodity that this country has. That commodity called freedom, all right? So, and it's like, we'll see how much this administration can claw back from the Philistines. Okay, thank you.
Yikes. But I think he echoed a sentiment that most of us feel and most of us would do. If someone were to take one of our kids and do something like that, yeah, he told you what he would do. And I'm sure many of you would feel the same way. And that's just not talked about. I included it at the end, knowing who knows if they hear that. Maybe there was enough background noise where the spiders won't hear it. But I think we're about to see something happen over the next 4 years that is another reason why I feel these people will never get back in office anytime soon. Because it's conspicuous by the fact that nobody on the left wants to even talk about it. They won't even bring it up. Not MSNBC, not CNN, not ABC, not CBS, none of them. And I gotta believe with a guy like Kash Patel, not this limp-wristed dude, Christopher Wray. I gotta believe, and also having a female, a woman, as Attorney General. Too many people in Hollywood know what's going on. And they haven't been able to root it out. This guy, preeminent actor, director, he knows. He knows what's going on. He knows what's been happening. And nobody wanted to basically take up that mantle, or, in better term, take up that cross and say, let's go fix this. Let's take this on head on and stop it. I mentioned the show Lioness that I watched last night, 2nd season, like 3rd episode in. And last night they stormed this compound that they thought was going to be a bunch of drugs. And when they stormed this compound, they kicked in the doors, they shot up and killed like 25 bad guys. And they're walking through it, and all of a sudden, there's this warehouse with 500 kids sitting there. And they all look at each other because you have to imagine a hardened soldier, and you're there to make a drug interdiction. And many of you guys who are here are probably in law enforcement. And you're there to for one thing, and you kick open these doors, and there's 500 plus kids sitting there. And you realize, as they said in the show last night, what the hell is this? You see, because you're used to fighting the bad guys for drugs and other kind of goods. It's a whole different thing when you kick in the door and you find out the goods are something else. And I just thought today as I watched it, how many times has our current government gone someplace and have seen that? Because we never know. We obviously we don't hear about special ops and things of that nature. But when you have a prominent Hollywood director talk about it on a stage at Mar-a-Lago with all these people, I gotta believe Trump is ready to do something about this. I gotta believe that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, and that's why these people are running scared. That's why they need pardons. There's something out there. I don't know what it is, but now you've seen the movie. You saw the next one. You're starting to hear it bubble up with these rappers, which is incredible to me, that it's going to take the rap world for this stuff to come crawling down. Boom. It's going to be Puff Daddy. When we had this other guy over there and all this stuff, and now it's the rappers are going to bring this to Hollywood to their knees. No mercy. No mercy. Jane's like, yeah, it would be devastating to see. Randy, who I know is a law enforcement officer, said he's dealt with it. Yeah, it's very crazy. I don't. Somebody says, is that 17th letter a thing? I don't think it's a thing anymore. I just think nobody wanted to investigate it. I mean, think about the conspicuousness that we know it's there. Everybody knows it's there. Nobody wants to talk about it. I think you're exactly right. I want to get involved as well. Been over 300,000 just sent to an address. It's gonna be pretty wild. It's gonna be pretty wild. Puffy is much worse than the guy over there. Yeah, it could be. We're gonna see Monsters Inc. We're really going to see what living monsters are. And I can't wait to watch the next episode. I got it queued up for tonight, so I'm going to be done with this show and kiss the wife and walk the dog and eat some dinner and queue it up and go and then pray before I watch it. See, again, I'm just telling you, Mel Gibson was talking at that Mar-a-Lago event, and he got a little heavy there. And even if it's a movie, I still pray about it, because I'm like, please allow me to, watch this and understand what these kids are going through and who these people are who are doing it and how many people in our government. It's hard. It's hard to get this stuff out of my head. It's funny. Here's something that'll get me out of my head. I get these kind of comments all the time. Barry, Adidas is made in China. Get a Trump hat, or at least MAGA. Let me just address this again. I don't know if you can see because it's kind of dark back there. Let me see if I move. Oh, there's one. Wait a minute, it's on this side. Right there. There's a MAGA hat, and then the other two are somewhere else on that thing. They're there. They're there. I just have a big head. And by the way, no, this isn't from China. Come on, man. Come on. You guys got to get better than that. Got to get better than that. All right, so let's go ahead and go look at the 10 before it gets too late. Here we go.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just got to hear. Number 10.
Your thoughts on Kash Patel and what you have learned so far about him?
Oh, I worked across from Kash Patel on the House Intel Committee, and he was a loyalist to Devin Nunes and did everything to be a wrecking ball there. And he blindly followed the orders of Nunes and essentially Trump, and he'll do the same at the FBI.
I've never been in the military. My brother has. My father has. Some of you guys have been in law enforcement. Isn't it customary if you get an order, you follow it? Pretty sure. I mean, obviously, what he's going to say next it does come into somewhat. Hold on. Let's finish what he has to say.
But to the agents at the FBI and the DOJ prosecutors, I say this. I was a prosecutor once. I had an oath to upkeep to the Constitution and to the court. And you're not helpless. You do not have to follow a legal orders. And the American people, while they want to see the costs of their goods and groceries come down, they do not want us to look like Russia or China. And so it's going to depend on the men and women at the FBI and the DOJ to stand tall and to show the courage that, really led them to join the ranks of those forces. And I still have trust that they will be a firewall as well.
All right, Congressman Eric Swalwell from California. Congressman, it's great to see you again. Thank you.
So you're directing that same rank and file FBI agent and people in the Department of Justice that Trump was talking about earlier, who are good people. You're asking them to do their job and to make sure you understand you're a stopgap against Trump. You're the firewall, and you don't have to follow illegal orders. That's great advice. That is absolutely great advice. But you're assuming they're going to be given illegal orders, which is insane. And if they were to be given illegal orders, well, I guess they become whistleblowers, don't they? But then again, we know how you treat whistleblowers. I just interviewed one. I just interviewed Zach Apotheker, who's a border agent, who said, hey, listen, we're acting as concierges up here on the border, and we're watching kids not being, verified. And they sat him at a desk and took away his money. So what you mean, Swalwell, is don't do the stuff we don't want you to do. That guy's a piece of work.
Number 9.
Why do you think Democrats lost, and what do you think needs to happen by the midterms and the next presidential election in order to find your footing again?
Now, this is a good question. This is specifically what the media should be doing. Why did you lose, and how do you fix it? I think this is Kristen Welker. Perfect question. I applaud you today, Kristen, because that's what you should be saying to people. Unfortunately, you're asking the wrong doggone person. You're asking this nut how to fix it. Hey, you gotta hear this.
Well, Kristen, no disrespect to you. I think you do great work. But the reality is that those that tune in to traditional news sources, they absolutely went for us. And we know that the standards...
Those of you who tune into traditional news services go to the Democrats. Okay.
That you have to live by as an actual journalist are completely different from other platforms. And so we know that we were winning for those that were tuning into the traditional news sources. But when it came down to people getting their news from places that really aren't even news sources, they were going for Donald Trump by 19 points. And
so what you just said is people like me do better than the news. And we're not, I don't consider myself a journalist. Not at all. But what I do know, honey, is that those sources that you're talking about, yeah, those sources right there, yeah, we're kicking their ass. We're taking names. So I'm not really sure in terms of what you're talking about at this point, what you expect people to do, given the fact that these other networks are circling the bowl.
that is exactly why we lost. The reality is that we're going to have to play in spaces that we've never had to play and make sure that we're communicating in all ways. Unfortunately, we can't just rely on the mainstream media to get our message across.
This is going to be interesting. I'd love to see this. All right, so you're talking to someone in the mainstream media. You're talking to Kristen Welker, and you're saying, you ain't it, girl. We can't talk to you anymore. Because everybody else, wants to hear it from here. What you don't understand is the reason why you tanked is you had a crappy candidate. But the other thing is, if Kristen Welker decided tomorrow to open up a YouTube channel, it's the exact same stuff. If Jim Acosta or Anderson Cooper, if they decided to do YouTube or Rumble, they're going to say the same thing, which means they're going to get the same result. You've got your media, and you're lusting for YouTubers and alternative media, but you don't have the people. Like I've said many times, you don't have the bench, honey. You can't ask Jim Acosta to go create a YouTube channel because he'll just keep saying the same thing. The reason why Dan Bongino and Benny and some of these people on this list are doing well is because they don't want to listen to the traditional media. Your bench, your people, that's what they want to hear.
Number 8.
Director Brennan, I start with you. Leaving at the end of a current president's term is the opposite of what the 10-year service window is about. And we've covered the cross pressures on the FBI, but I wonder what it is like for the workforce to see their leader leave.
I think it's going to be very difficult, and I'm very disappointed that Director Wray decided to resign. I think Director Wray has carried out his responsibilities with integrity, professionalism during very difficult and challenging times over the last 7 years.
The reason why I played this again is simple. Because I want you to see, following what you just heard Jasmine Crockett say, if she could admit the truth, we lost because, people didn't want to hear the traditional media. And I just wanted to, it's only like 15, 20 seconds. But the traditional media keeps doing the same thing. So if Nicole Wallace decided tomorrow she's going to do a YouTube channel, she's going to bring Brennan on.
And he was appointed to a 10-year term, and he accepted a 10-year term. And right now, his decision to leave tends to legitimize what Donald Trump is doing in terms of appointing someone else. I don't think it would be any problem if he stayed in place and had Donald Trump remove him. I mean, that certainly is a president's prerogative, even though there is a 10-year term on the FBI director role. But by doing this, I do think it's going to leave the men and women of the FBI sort of wondering what their future is going to look like, particularly.
I wonder why the media doesn't look for alternative guests. Why they just recycle the same people? As Ashley is out there getting guests and lining up interviews for me, a lot of people say, hey, can we come on again? Yeah. We'll get you back on in January. We'll get you back on, whenever. These people are every day, same thing. Blah, 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 blah. Same stuff. They have nothing to add, nothing new to the conversation. It's a simple thing. If you keep doing the same thing, you get the same results. And for some reason, these people just haven't learned at all.
If somebody like Kash Patel, a real sycophant of Donald Trump, is actually going to get through the confirmation process. So although I respect Director Wray, and I'm sure that his decision was based on how he...
and the guy has such a great personality. He will definitely attract new voters.
Evaluated the impact on the Bureau and the workforce. I just think that was a decision that should not have been made at this point, and he should have stayed through the transition to the administration.
Go away.
Number 7.
Chris Wray is announcing his resignation. I think we expected this to happen, that he would go in some form or fashion, but what's your reaction to
I forgot to enlarge it. My bad. Anyway, you can hear him.
This news?
Well, first of all, I'm not surprised. I mean, Donald Trump wants to get rid of Chris Wray, someone he appointed to the position, because Chris Wray actually upheld the law. Donald Trump thinks that he's above the law. But if I...
See what I mean? Just say stuff. Donald Trump thinks he's above the law. These people, it's so bad. They
took classified documents home to my house. I would expect the FBI to raid my home, too.
Number 6.
If I took classified documents home to my house, I would expect the FBI to raid my house too. Remember, that was you're still fighting old battles. Love it. Absolutely love it. Keep doing it.
Kristi Noem is up for Homeland Security Secretary. She met today with Homeland Security Committee Chairman Gary Peters of Michigan.
My hope is that I will get bipartisan support of my confirmation to become the next Department of Homeland Security Secretary. We've just had great conversations with Senator Peters, talked about some concerns within the agency, what we can do to solidify our national security interests, and I think Republicans and Democrats in this country recognize how important Homeland Security is.
I find it interesting. You know, Trump always seems to appoint beautiful women. And Kristi Noem walks in there, and I'm sure some of these nimrods in Congress are sitting there just like, oh, yes, yeah, anything you say.
Number 5.
So I hope that you all feel that sense of...
Have you guys seen this? You're going to love this. This is Jill Biden absolutely trolling Kamala Harris. We know she doesn't like her. I think we can probably say they hate each other. We've seen them not even look at each other. Now she's going to absolutely make fun of Kamala Harris here. I love it. I absolutely love it.
You know, peace and light, and that just for a moment when you leave here today that you feel, I don't know, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need like this, you know, we all need to feel joy now during this time of the season, during this time. So anyway, okay, now I'll start. You're all reading into that.
Oh yeah, we are. She knew exactly what she was doing. I'm like, oh. Lots of shade. Lots of shade happening here. Everybody knew she was trolling Kamala, making no bones about it. Oh, this woman voted. They voted for Trump. She trolled her so doggone hard. Oh my God. I can't believe she just did that.
4.
He impedes us. If he knowingly harbors and conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute.
And while Homan says there are no plans for family separation, President Trump's immigration surrogate offered this blunt take.
You need to take the child home with you?
I hope you heard that. Yeah, we talked about family separation. Now, you can take your child home with you. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, that's too much. 2 in a row. The big troll and then the big slap in the face to the people in Chicago and the mayor of Chicago. You got to go. Either way you're going. You want to leave the kid here? You want to take the kid with you? Ooh, this is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun.
Number 3.
President, a majority of Americans, 54%, say they expect him to do a good job as president. And we asked specifically,
You know this hurt, CNN. It had to hurt.
Confidence in all of these areas about how Trump will perform and his ability to handle it. And once again, as we saw throughout the campaign, the economy is issue number 1 of his strength.
They sound surprised, don't they?
65%, 2/3 of Americans in this poll say they have some or a lot of confidence in Trump's ability to manage and handle the economy as president. And you see Russia, Ukraine followed there, then immigration, and his leadership skills, his what he intends to use his power for, whether that'll be responsibly not, a bit lower. But again, all of this is majority support. So that is where things stand right now.
Notice what wasn't on that list of what people care about. Baby removal. Trump's going to do. In order to him, just so you know, in order to get a 65% approval rating on the economy, that means a whole bunch of Democrats said, yeah, that's the guy. So again, what that just did is underscore what I said to you. Why these people, I feel, may not win another election anytime soon. If he's starting to get 65% approval ratings now, before he even gets into office, man, can you even imagine? He posted, or he didn't post, but maybe he did post this today. And, you know, he's making stuff happen right now before he even gets in office. I want you to see this tweet that came up today. Breaking. The person of the year, President Trump, has told Lockheed CEO Jim Taiclet he plans to cancel the $1 trillion F-35 contract because China is winning the fighter race while Lockheed sends executives to DEI camps. He's canceling their contract. We're not spending $1 trillion with you. So yes, of course, he's looking like the guy knows more about the economy. 65, if he does what he says he's going to do, then there's going to be a whole bunch of Democrats that are going to vote for him in not for him, but for the Republicans in 2028.
Number 2.
I'm very worried about the press, extremely worried about.
So this is Leslie Stahl, CBS. And the other woman is an author, used to write for the New York Times. She may still. This is Peggy Noonan. And they're talking about, hey, this whole, YouTube people and alternative media, this might be a problem for us.
Not only for the technological reasons we're all worried about, and not only for the financial tectonic plates moving, but for some other reason. What one?
Well, for example, I once asked Donald Trump, why do you keep pounding on the press? This was right after he won in 2016. It's kind of boring. You say the same thing over and over, and you won.
See, they missed it. They didn't understand. Why was he hammering this home? Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. And she just admitted she didn't know why he was doing it.
It's time to drop it. Why do you do it? And he said, I do it and I repeat it because the more I do that, the less people are going to believe you when you say negative things about me and whatever else.
Totally.
And it's happened. If you watch the opinion of us, how many people trust the press anymore? I mean, we're way down there with the lawyers.
Yeah.
This is really rough, as you know.
You're way down there with Congress.
So these two elder ladies are realizing at this point, Trump destroyed you. I mean, you had a big hand in it because of what you do and how you do it, but you made it easy for Trump. You made it easy for him to basically use his marketing skills to destroy the traditional media. And then, of course, the first bro comes in and buys Twitter and basically finishes you off at that point. And I'm going to show you why, because number one is going to show you specifically why you guys are dead in the water.
Exactly. I mean, we're way down there with Congress, but we're way down there. And I despair. Seriously, I worry greatly. And I think there are other institutions that have been suffering. And you're right not to blame Donald Trump 100%, obviously. Started many years before. But we're at a point where if the President of the United States is going to say legacy media is dead. Well, I guess Musk said that. Legacy media is dead.
And he wants it dead. He wants other media.
But it is kind of, sort of hobbling right now. And I don't know how it recovers.
It's not. And the reason why it's not going to recover, not the single reason, but this last clip here is a great indication why traditional media is toast. Absolutely toast. Without further ado on this one, Joy Reid.
Number 1.
What do you think running government like a business looks like? It looks like what Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are about to do. Businesses run on efficiency. They need costs to be low and profits to be high. It is not profitable to take care of old people and veterans. It is not profitable to take care of children or give kids free lunch at school. These are not.
Why we got to give kids free lunch at school? Don't they got mommies and daddies?
Profit-making things. They're things government does. So if
I never knew that. I never knew that it was the government's responsibility to give out free lunches and stuff to kids.
If you cut them, you will be behaving like a business. If you cut veterans care, you will be behaving like a business. If you privatize veterans health care, you'll be running government like a business. If you get rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which they want to do, which is the bureau that protects regular people from getting gouged by, banks and the credit card companies, if you get rid of that, you'd be acting like a business. You'd be running government like a business if you privatize.
Spoken like a woman who has obviously never been involved in business. Because she's talking about basically closing the business. Hey, listen, if you can't do it, you got to close it. You can't give the kids food. You can't do, CFPB and all this. You can't do it. That's not what they're saying at all. What Elon Musk has already proved, which somehow she doesn't understand, is I can get it done for less. I bought Twitter for $44 billion. It had, 7,000 employees, and I fired 90% of them. I didn't do away with my product. I did away with the administration, all the crap. And people said it's going to fail. It's not going to work. But it's working fine. You don't like it, but it's working fine. So if we are going to give kids breakfasts, we're going to continue to do that. Maybe we don't need 3,000 people in this department to get it done. So you skipped over that. Nobody said we're not going to give the kids breakfast if they need it. What he's saying, we're going to trimline the cost. Same thing with, veterans. We may not need 10,000 people in the VA. She's openly lying to people, not understanding anything about business.
Social Security, you'd be running government like a business. What do people think running government like a business looks like? Businesses don't care about if you're happy, if you're healthy, if you're alive. They care about profits. They only care about profits. If you run government like a business, you literally get what Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are about to do to the government.
That's why your media crap. That's why your media is in a tank. You lie or you just don't know. One of the two. Either you're a liar or you're ignorant. And you've never obviously run a business. Never. Because you think running a business means throwing away the product, the end result. And whereas a businessman or businesswoman says, I can still produce this. I can produce this product. But I don't need all this other stuff. I don't need 3,000 or 4,000 people in the assembly line. I can make it robotic and do away with 90% of you and not suffer the product. She immediately tried to convince her ignorance or put her ignorance on her audience by saying, here's what they want to do. They just want to eliminate what you get. And by using that as a hook to get people upset, so you're not going to have this anymore. Nobody has said you're not going to have it. You just won't even see what changes. They lie, they obfuscate, they try to drive panic. That was the whole thing I wanted to show you tonight, is that I'm starting to wonder about this whole drone thing. Nothing's making sense right now. And I'm seeing these people lose their minds because the FBI director decided to resign. And then you get people complaining about the media and everything else. They're lost. They are foundering. There's not one single leader on the Democrat side who's saying, hey, let's huddle and figure out what the hell we need to do. It's like a million people running up there screaming on camera and doing all different things, not understanding you need to coalesce. But I'm extremely happy that you're not, and I'm extremely happy that you probably don't have the ability to do so. Because the more you guys do this kind of crap, it just makes us laugh and we know we're winning. Because when I'm looking at game films, right now, as I've showed you guys this a couple of times, when I'm looking at game films at this point, who do you think I'm looking at? If I'm down there at number 13, my game film is to Hey, Barry, you need to watch Dan Bongino, and you need to watch PBD and some of these other people, because that's how you get better. That's how you're going to learn the different techniques that they do. How are they doing it? What are they saying? And you just keep improving. And I'm giving you this message because I want you to see that our traditional media, Trump has completely destroyed them. They're done. They're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and they don't understand how to get back to the basics and read and watch what other people are doing. Jasmine Crockett, as much as a nut as she is, pretty much told Kristen Welker to her face, sorry, you ain't it no more. Unfortunately, and this is what's really funny, in closing, as you go through here, other than NBC News up here, this one here, Midas Touch, I mentioned in the video. That's pretty much the only, than Young Turks. So Midas Touch and Young Turks are the only real liberal ones on this list. That's it. And Young Turks at this point is sick of your crap. They don't want to hear it. So you basically have one person on that list, one group on that list. Midas Touch. That's it. So if you want to change things before the next 4 years, you can't. Because the Joy Reids, the Rachel Maddows of the world, nobody cares what they have to say anymore. Which is great. Which means we keep winning. We keep going. Every single one of you, keep pushing. Whichever one of these people you watch them. See what they're saying. Understand how they're trying to get better. And then compare it to what you see in traditional media if you ever turn that crap on. And one of the things I'm hoping when Trump takes control and he brings in his guy who's going to be running the FCC and FTC and all this stuff is that we're allowed to talk about the subject that matters to us, many of us, a lot. I want to talk about these kids. I want to bring people on who can talk about these kids. What do we need to look to? Where can we find them? How can we help? What do we need to do? And right now it's so hard to find it because you can't talk about it. Which tells you, as many of you have said, that means you're over the target. If they're not allowing us to talk about certain things, that means, oh, that's third rail, huh? We know. We know what's going on there. I pray that Trump's presidency is so successful that this becomes something we don't have to worry about, and we can find a way to stop it, just like Mel Gibson said. That's where I want to be. I want to spearhead it. If some of these other guys won't talk, if I could talk about it, I will. I will get Jim Caviezel. Ashley, if you're on tonight, call Jim Caviezel. Let's do an interview. Call the guys who made Sound of Freedom. Let's do an interview. I want to get this audience enthused and motivated to basically stomp out traditional media. Let them scream bloody murder, and let's advance to the point where we become people who are trying to help these kids. I absolutely. What about Tom Hanks? Ellen, all these people getting ready to take off. Yeah, I want YouTube to have freedom of speech. Poor Dan Bongino, as much as he's kicking ass, let me just show you that again, which is very interesting. I want to make sure you guys can see this, because there's something quite interesting here. As you look at this chart that I'm showing you here, red is YouTube, green is Rumble. And so you get like Benny. Benny's he's there in his YouTube channel, and then down here his Rumble channel. So he's in there twice. But a lot of the big guys have had to abdicate even talking here. Dan Bongino is Rumble only. Steven Crowder, Rumble only. Steve Bannon, Rumble only. And then obviously Alex Jones, Rumble only. X22 Report, Rumble only. They're not even allowed to be on this platform. I think Bongino got banned. The number one guy in the country, and these guys here said, nope, don't even want you here. Pretty crazy. pretty flipping crazy. So, that's where Rumble comes in, is because people realize they can't be here. That needs to change. That needs to change big time. Ellen's last girlfriend was killed. What's her name? Anne Hesh. Anne Hesh. Yeah, absolutely. Dan Pangino and PBD and Barry kind of. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm gonna keep pushing. Yep. Alex Jones is now doing a lot on X. So that's what I'm saying with the media here is the Republicans, as long as they don't screw up, they have the ability to really destroy traditional media, even worse than it is now, because they won't change. Even if they do change, they'll still be limited in terms of what they'll talk about. Oh yeah, I mean, even last night, or my show earlier, for some reason, YouTube dinged it. Not really sure. I didn't say anything wrong about anything, so something it picked up on what I said, and so I had to file an appeal on my show from earlier today. They banned Dan over saying something about about this. Yeah, you couldn't do that. Let's see here. What else we got? Patrick Beck-David. I like his show. Yeah, he's right. Believe it or not, he's about 10 miles away. And that's another interesting thing. I keep talking about this. This is striking when you think about this. Is pretty crazy. Where is that? Where is that? I want you guys to look at this. Where are we? When I looked at this, and I want to point something out for you. So I want you guys to take a look at this. It's pretty interesting. When you look at this list, I don't know if it's just coincidence. Dan Bongino, Florida. PBD, podcast. He's literally 10 minutes away from me down in Oakland Park, right down the street. I'm pretty sure, Benny, Florida. And of course, myself, Florida. So I just found it interesting that so many people were in Florida doing this stuff. My phone is going off. SB, did I do something wrong or something? Here we go here. We got an announcement, looks like. What do we got here? Oh yeah, we're gonna have to. All right. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Trump's out here doing stuff. Thanks, SB, for that. Before I close, I gotta. He's got a couple. Well, he's got 1, 2, 3. He's been busy. Wait a second here. All right. So before we close tonight, we like boss has got work for us. So the boss has decided to. Again, it's one of the reasons why I do this late night show, because for some reason he and I seem to be like on about the same level in terms of timing and everything. We got a whole bunch of stuff to discuss here. Let's see what we got here. All right, are you ready? Let's go. Boom. Donald Trump, it gives me great pleasure to announce Leandro Rizzuto as ambassador to the Organization of American States. I don't even know what that is. For many years, Leandro successfully ran and grew Conair into one of the most successful companies in the United States. Additionally, Lee served with distinction as a U.S. consul to Bermuda. Lee will be fantastic as our next ambassador to the OAS, an Organization of American States. His next appointment, I am pleased to announce that Dr. Peter Lamelas will serve as our United States ambassador to Argentina. Love it. That's where Javier Milei is. Peter is a physician, philanthropist, and incredible businessman. Best known for founding the largest urgent care health care company in Florida. Wonder which one. I'll have to look that up. As a child, Peter and his family fled communist Cuba and legally, in big letters, immigrated to the United States, started with nothing, and achieved the American dream. I previously appointed him to serve on the Department of Justice Medal of Valor Review Board, which honors the courage of our nation's incredible first responders. He has served on the Florida Board of Medicine and as a town commissioner in Manalapan, Florida. Manalapan is right below Palm Beach. So, obviously he knows Trump. Then we got this one. I am pleased to announce our next ambassador to Colombia will be Daniel Newland, a highly accomplished business executive, entrepreneur, and former sheriff's detective. Dan boasts an impressive 28-year career with the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Orlando, Florida. I wonder if my boys up there know this guy. Throughout his tenure, Newland rapidly advanced, working in major crimes as a fugitive detective. Dan demonstrated exceptional investigative skills, successfully taking hundreds of violent offenders off the streets, including those involved in armed robbery, gang violence, human trafficking, and illegal gun and narcotics trafficking. In addition to his law enforcement career, Newland is a business visionary who founded Dan Newland Injury Attorney. So this guy was a cop, detective, and then became a lawyer. Wow, very, very impressive. With his law enforcement expertise enabling him to navigate complex international issues and his business insights fostering economic partnerships. Newland stands as a powerful advocate for U.S. interests and a champion for strengthening ties and making a difference in the world. Dan will do a great job. But we're not done. There's more. Oh, let me take a sip here. I am pleased to nominate Michael Regas to the Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources. Michael will bring accountability to the State Department as he did government-wide when he served in my first term, so he's bringing someone else from the band back as the Deputy and Acting Director of the Office of Personnel Management and the Acting Deputy Director for Management at the Office of Management and Budget, OMB office. He holds a master's in public administration from Harvard University Kennedy School of Government and a bachelor's and master's degree in economics from Boston University, focusing on international trade and finance. Mike is a conservative warrior who knows how government works and will help make America great again. Now the next one is going to cause many of you to go, whoo, hoo, 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 hoo. All right, here's the last one for the, well, I think it's the last one for the night. We have no idea, but without further ado, I am pleased to announce that Carrie Lake will serve as our next director of the Voice of America. She will be appointed by and work closely with our next head of the U.S. Agency for Global Media, who I will announce soon, to ensure that the American values of freedom and liberty are broadcast around the world fairly and accurately. Unlike the lies spread by the fake news media, Carrie was a beloved news anchor in Arizona, which supported me by record margins for over 20 years. So I don't know what the Voice of America is. Is that the well? Let's see what that is. But she's going to be the director of it. Have you guys heard of the Voice of America? Let me look up and see what the heck Voice of America is. Voice of America is an international broadcasting state media network funded by, it's very interesting. Very interesting. So they've got their own network, it seems. Voice of America. Let me see if there's all about, let's see, about U.S. News. Where's their about page? Okay, about VOA. Okay, here. Voice of America is the largest United States international broadcaster, providing news and information in nearly 50 languages to an estimated weekly audience of more than 354 million people. VOA produces content for digital television and radio platforms. It is easily accessible via your mobile phone and on social media. It is also distributed by satellite cable, FM, blah, 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 3500. I see what's coming. If I were to guess what's coming here, let me check their X page and let me check their YouTube page real quick. What do you guys think is coming with this? It's a very small X page, not much going on, but it's a news station. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I think I know what's coming. Let's see what their YouTube channel looks like. They only got 844 subscribers. Nothing going on. I want to check one thing else. Let's see who is the directors are currently, who's in charge of this. Because before I say this, I think I know what's about to happen, people. I really think the VOA director, who's in charge of this? Tell me what you guys think this is all about, because I think I have an idea what's about to happen here. I can't really see who's in charge. I'm gonna have to look this up for tomorrow, because here's what I think's about to happen. I think Trump's about to open a television network. I think what he's doing, he has this this outlet that they can now use to broadcast anything he wants. Again, look at what this says right here. Maybe I should make this bigger so you guys can see it, because now this is going to be very interesting. It's already in place, right? So if this is already in place, and hold on, let me go ahead and make this smaller so you guys can see it. All right. This has my interest. This really has my interest. Hadn't heard about it before. Okay, here we go. Voice of America is the largest U.S. international broadcaster. You know how Trump likes big things. Big. It's huge. So right now, what Trump is saying is, this is the biggest international broadcaster. News and information in 50 languages to a weekly audience of 354 million people. Content for digital, television, and radio. Is carried on 3,500 affiliate stations. People, I think we're about to see the presidential television network. I could be wrong, but this has he has the opportunity by doing this to blast this across the world. Doesn't need Fox, doesn't need CNN, doesn't need any of this stuff. I never knew this thing even existed. The Voice of America. The Voice of MAGA. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Think of the possibilities as you're listening to this, as you're seeing what I'm seeing here in real time, what this could be. And he's putting a broadcaster, obviously, Kari Lake, in charge of all this. This is amazing, the potential. And I'm trying to think about it from his perspective. Here's a guy who does everything. He knows media inside and out. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is about to get real. Could this be what Soros was trying to acquire? I don't know. Richard said, he goes, I saw this a long time ago. I never knew this thing existed. TV, internet, 3,500 affiliate stations. MAGA is worldwide. So just imagine that the first bro, Elon, can come to him and say, listen, we're gonna take, I see this Twitter profile here, or X profile. I mean, just think about it. This is crap. Well, that's just a guy. He's the head of the VOA. That's just the current director. Dude only has 10,000 followers. He hasn't been doing much of anything, and they've been putting out stupid shows. Oh my God, this could be friggin' huge. And I'm thinking about, he just instantly created his own television network. Kari Lake can recruit journalists. This is, my mind's getting away from this. Would be absolutely crazy. Voice of America has been around since 1942. Never, have you ever watched? Doesn't look like many people at all have watched it. I don't even know how you turn it on. Yeah, it'd be Trump TV. I don't even know how you get to it at this point. What they've put out there. I mean, if they're not, if this is the kind of content that they're putting out, U.S. charges, and look at the difference. October 22nd and then November 13th. VOA. Yeah, this is going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. This is their. They got 1.65 million followers here, but they don't put out anything worth watching. Something about the Syrians. Yeah, nobody's looking at this stuff. Look at it. You got 1 million followers and you're getting 1,800 impressions. 2,000 impressions. 1,500 impressions. Who is this guy? Myanmar? No. Oh, this is going to be huge. Absolutely huge. Can't wait. Can't wait. They ripped off Kari Lake twice, and now she's going to have basically her own network. Man, this guy's good. This guy is so flippin' good. I obviously this thing has been around a while. I thought it might have been, the Armed Forces Network, but man, that will be the White House Press Channel. Yeah, this could be incredible. What? What's it say here? VOA could be received on shortwave radio. VOA was radio first, started in 1940s when we entered into World War II. Who is the head of it now? It's the government. I mean, it's this guy. This guy right here. This is the guy who's the head of it. Hold on, let me move that comment. Never knew. This guy always thinks big. You know Trump thinks big. This guy here is the director, official handle of the VOA director, Mike Abramowitz, 31st director of VOA, serving since June 24. Yeah, dude, you're about to lose your job. Yeah, you're done. Excuse me. You're so done. So Kari Lake's going to come in. She's going to be the director of this thing. What do you think she's going to do? Just put it that way. If you know Kari Lake's history and you know what she knows in media, she is a broadcast news anchor. That's her history. And Trump's put her in charge of this. So obviously there's been talk here and they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just create our own network. We never have to talk to these people ever again. Thinking what Leslie Stahl said about Trump's looking to kill traditional media, that would pretty much kill traditional media. Wow. Absolutely stunning. Stunning. The guy's brilliant. Wonder if this was Barron's idea. It probably could have been. Any guys out there purchased Trump cologne yet? No, I haven't. Barry, look up Kit Butt. Yeah, exactly. NPR replacement. Yeah, he may just take NPR and turn them off. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. And what you just saw right now is probably what a lot of people in the media are looking at, because they look to see who his appointees are. And if you look at his appointees and you sat back and saw that about Kari Lake, you better read the tea leaves. The tea leaves would be saying right now, you're toast. You're absolutely toast. I love it. All right, let me do this. I would like to go eat dinner, but first I want to tell you, go please to fanfareshop.org/group if you'd like to go ahead and join our X group, which probably tomorrow this time will say 12,000. We're right there at the precipice of 12,000. If you want to enter to win a hoodie, go to fanfareshop.org and enter to win. And speaking of winning, my job is to give away some hoodies right now. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do the three things, and we'll give away 3 of them. Let's do that. Let me move this over here so I can have the window. Where am I? Okay, and we're all set. All right, so let me drop the drum roll. Let's see who's going to win today. Boom, boom. And the winner is Sparkle Clegg. Sparkle Clegg, you are a winner of a hoodie. Interesting name. Love your name. Sparkle Clegg. Let's see here. We've got to hit the drum roll again. And winner, Susan Klein. So that's 2 women again. Women keep winning everything. And one more. And let me do the drum roll by Tommy Lawrence. Here we go. And 3 ladies tonight. Jennifer Reeves. So you guys need to look out for an email from Ashley. She's going to send you an email that says what's your size, what's your mailing address, so she can get that out to you. All right, with that, let's look at Super Chats. Carolyn J. I think you need to visit Trump. Yeah, I need to go right up the road. David Cummings, thank you. MAGA News Network. I could see that happening. MNN, MAGA News Network. Knucklehead says, VOA used to broadcast radio to Iron Curtain countries. Imagine what he could do with it now if he's going to be controlling that. V-Shu, VOA was really popular during wars, broadcasted to all military and occupied regions. So it's just sitting there waiting to be blown up. Woo, Just Me says, woo. Very nice. And Just Me again says, Merry Christmas. Thank you very, very much. Dyslexic Tank, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please do that. Jay Smith, we must have faith and stand strong, and like Trump said, as his ear bled, fight, Christian soldiers. It's time to fight. Put your armor on. Sharpen your swords. Exactly. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 30, 40 days. Be ready for it. Eric West, Joy Reid still sharing hate. That's all they got. That's all they have. Watch their numbers continue to go down. Benedetto Salerno. Be nice to have Barry Bongino and Benny, the 3 Bs on MSNC when Elon buys it. All real news all the time. I'd love to be hooked up with those guys. Bruce Martberger. Great job. Thanks for keeping us informed. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Stephen Stairjoe. Bongino mentioned you one of his last 3 No shit. Was it good? Now I'm going to have to go watch all his last 3 podcasts for an hour each just to hear what he said. Maybe I'll cut it. 1999, Lori Tidwell. Don Lemon is proof that they can't make it anywhere from mainstream media. Exactly. Those of you guys who know, once Don Lemon left or got booted from CNN, he decided to do this. He decided he was going to do a show. It tanked. Linda, Trump said he didn't know if he would have a public inauguration. I think he knows something we don't about the drones. And he probably doesn't want to spend the money. He should just have it down here. Cat Ron, how do you say the Cat Rashad? Just found his channel. Thank you for doing common sense journalism. Thank you very, very much. Let's see here. Kimmy, great day. Barry and Mods, thank you very much. Benedetto Salerno again. Thank you. By the way, somebody asked me about the show Lioness. It's on Paramount. I love it. Kind of hard language, but good military show. Deb Blankey. Because my ex-husband's middle name wasn't corrected on his birth certificate, he can't get a real ID. It's been almost a year, and we're still trying to get his birth certificate. Wonder what state you're in. Maybe if it was Florida, we could get something done about that. Just another knucklehead. I got a voter registration and have to show up on a voter list. Also, I'm 65, retired Navy. I get ID'd every time I vote. Texas. Yep. What's this say? Pink Lioness. When is Taylor Swift going to shave her head? Nah, she got too much money. She ain't shaving her head. Just another knucklehead. Birth control glasses, Barry. Oh, you talk about those big black glasses that they've been wearing. Hell yeah, because that immediately would be some sort of repellent. Just knucklehead. This newswoman is pretty crappy on delivery, no matter what the topic. I can't wait for them to fail. They're already failed, and now it's just we're just watching to see how long it takes them to take their agonal breaths. RBI Sports, the continued spin from the fake news may be so, but it sounds mighty weird. So take your jokes to the other folks. We don't want your BS here. Oh, you guys are funny. You guys are funny sometimes. Ashley, if you're listening, hey, we want to get Monkey Works on. Just another knucklehead. I want that FCC head brought in day one as well. Time to denude the BS fortress. They get money from somewhere. Absolutely. Pink Lioness again. I'd be lost not because you lie where you might go to. Nope, I'm going to be here as long as they allow me to. Like I said, they dinged my earlier show for whatever reason. I don't know why. Just me. Exit gone. Bye-bye. Oh, man. Let me see. Let me scroll down here. Big Cat, brother. How you doing? Fine work, sir. I can't wait for Barry on the street. Yeah, thank you. I did hear today. We're going back to the rally type thing. It looks like Trump next week is going to be at Turning Point USA. It's going to have a pseudo rally, first rally type experience. I'm going to get the details, but we will go live with that. That should be awesome. Get the gang back together. Mama Mima, Glenn Beck did an incredible multi-episode series on the whole scandal, and he always has receipts back in February of 2020. Mind-blowing. Yeah, Glenn does some very, very good work like that. Larry, 1754, the whole world is doing the Trump dance. Yes, they are. All right, everybody, thanks for coming in tonight for the second. I hope you guys are getting ready for a great Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is, Festivus, whatever it is you celebrate. I hope you're about to have a great one. See you tomorrow afternoon. If you get seizures, look away. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight.